Hey Spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome to my opinion video on the Hungary civilization reveal. So we're just going to sit here and watch the first look video, and then we'll pause it at appropriate moments, and I will give my thoughts at the various points. So let's get started, and we'll just kind of skip on through.
Leads Hungary in Civilization 6, Gathering Storm. He was king from 1458 to 1490. Despite infamy for high taxation, he became a popular folk hero as Matthias the Just. Hungary's unique ability is Pearl of the Danube. Districts and buildings constructed across a river from a city center are built faster.
So that looks like it was in 6 turns, and then it took 4, so a 50% bonus would make that. That looks like a bit of a 50% bonus. That could be very, very strong for building up your districts in the early game and next to a river. That does cause a bit of a problem because river tiles are already extremely valuable. So for Hungary, the value calculation for river tiles for districts is going to be even harder to make because usually that's where you want to have your lumber mills and stuff.
Their unique building is the thermal bath. It replaces the zoo and provides amenities and protection to every
lot of
city
amenities
center within its range. If there is a geothermal fissure within the city's borders, it also provides tourism and additional amenities.
Very cool. So it gets an additional 2 amenities if you have that. It seems like it has a consistent bonus and then a situational bonus, which seems okay.
Hungary's unique unit is the Hussar. This is an industrial-era light cavalry unit that receives a combat bonus for every active alliance.
Oh.
Matthias Corvinus is...
Oh, okay. So here's the important stuff. Okay, so levied units gain an ability giving them +2 movement and +5 combat strength. It costs no gold or resources to upgrade levied units. If you levy units from a city-state, receive 2 envoys with that city-state, gain the Black Army unique unit when the castle's technology is researched. The Black Army has +3 combat strength for each adjacent levied unit. Okay, so this seems like a civilization where it would be quite good to strategically get control of a city-state and then use them as a way to conquer someone else. So I think this could be... This is a cool ability. It has lots of flavor and lots of cool ideas in it. The big problem with it is that it's kind of very dependent on a lot of things. It's not a very independent ability, okay? It's dependent upon you having a city-state that you want to have control of, and then it's dependent on that city-state being in the place where you can actually use it, and then it's dependent on the city-state actually having the units you can use, and then it's dependent on you having technologies that you can upgrade those units to, and then it's dependent on you having the Black Army. And so there's a lot of... It's a really cool and powerful bonus, but there's a lot of dependencies. I think the most consistent part of this is the +2 envoys when you levy units. That's actually really, really good. It's going to be a very nice way to turn your gold into envoys, which is actually quite difficult to do in the game at the moment. It's quite difficult to turn gold into envoys. So this is actually quite a unique thing for the Hungarian Empire. And then you can sort of, once you have that army, if there is an army, you can put it to use either in defense or offense. So I would say this is a pretty strong bonus if you combine it with the Black Army. It's a strong bonus, but it's extremely situational. With the exception of the bonus 2 envoys, which are always nice. So I would say that's a pretty reasonably strong bonus. I don't know exactly how I would rate it. I would really have to play around with it to give a full sort of in-depth opinion on it. But I think at a glance, this is going to have low impact most of the time, but when it has an impact, like when all the sort of when the stars align, it's going to be a game changer. And then it looks like their next ability is Pearl of the Danube. I don't know how to say that river's name. It's a +50% production to districts and buildings constructed across a river from a city. Districts and buildings. Oh, wow. This is actually a really, really strong bonus. And I think this basically instantaneously launches this guy into at least the strong tier. The ability to generate envoys and a 50% production bonus, that's quite good. That's really quite good. A 50% production bonus, like, that's insane. That's like having, there's no cards for extra production towards buildings in your civics, right? So this is like, if you imagine, this is like having a card that's just always equipped that gives you a 50% production bonus to buildings and districts, provided you can build them across the river from a city. Now, most rivers, you're going to get the benefit of this in only 2 districts. Sometimes you'll get 3. Very rarely you'll get 5 districts if you have like a particularly sort of swirly river. So I would say, this is a pretty strong bonus. I actually think this could apply to getting a holy site, and actually these guys could be quite good at getting a early religion and then transitioning into a war game. The only downside of this is that because encampments have to be placed a tile away from your city center, unless you have 2, you can't even do that. Yeah, and you can't place districts beside other cities. So you won't be able to use this bonus for encampments. So that does feel not so great to me. Yeah. But for sure, this is going to be really great for getting, for example, if you want to get an early religion, if you want to get an early campus out. And I think that's really it. If you're going to be building a lot of commercial hubs, it's quite good too, because you get the river bonus. So this is going to be really... So I imagine this civilization is going to be quite good at doing things with religion early, and then getting their trade routes up really, really quickly in their empire. So that's actually a really strong advantage, because most of the time what you build across a river from a city center is actually your commercial hub, which is sort of what gets you your trade routes, which is going to be able to help them generate more gold, which will lead them into the Raven King. And then also with the Hussar, that trading with other AIs, for example, will get you more alliances because it'll increase their relations with you. So I'm kind of getting the sense that Hungary is going to be quite good at generating envoys, with city-states they already own. They're going to be quite good at generating gold. They're going to be quite good at building infrastructure in the early game and sort of getting a city to a point of development quite quickly. And so it seems like you're going to want to play... Well, it's kind of this strange push-pull thing here, because if you go warmongering, that'll hurt your relations with everybody and people will want to stop being your ally. So it seems like what you want to do is play around city-states, maybe in the early game, get your commercial hubs up, and maybe a couple of other districts to kind of get you up to these key techs. Then you want to use those... that gold and the levied armies to sort of conquer someone and kill them really quickly with the Black Army and all those levied units that you get for cheap. And then you want to kind of transition into, get a couple of alliances and then use the Hussar to sort of conquer people. And then right about then, at that point of the game, people should start hating you with the warmonger penalties. So this feels like sort of very based around time expanding during these specific timings, right? Which is interesting, very, very interesting. Now the thermal bath is a unique building to Hungary, gives +2 amenities and +2 production, and it extends to each city center within 6 tiles. These bonuses apply once to every city, and multiple copies do not stack. And the city also receives +3 tourism and 2 additional amenities if there's at least 1 geothermal fissure in this city's borders. This is actually really quite strong, because I believe this is a replacement for the zoo. Right? I think it's a replacement for the zoo. I don't think it... Does it give you the benefits of the zoo? Or yeah, I think it's a replacement for the zoo, right? Did I say that?
That bonus for every
we double check that.
Matthias Corvinus's unique ability is a geothermal fissure within the zoo and provides amenities.
Yeah, it replaces the zoo. So I'd be very curious to see, can it be seen in this image? Yeah, now as far as I remember, the zoo gives you extra yields from jungle. Now I don't see any jungle in here. Is it the zoo that gives you extra yields from jungle? It's hard to remember, but I'm wondering if it loses some of the abilities of the zoo. So I'm not sure if it's going to be a straightforward upgrade to the zoo, but at the very least, it does allow you to generate that little bit extra tourism, and entertainment districts are quite good for generating tourism in any way, because they provide appeal to adjacent tiles, which can be converted into tourism through national parks and seaside resorts, all that sort of stuff. So, if you are going for a culture game, which I think would be quite viable with these guys, maybe go into like an early mid-game conquest into a culture game. Although this again sort of has this push-pull relationship, is when you're going for a culture victory, you want as many civilizations alive as possible, because for every civilization that's alive, you get extra tourists. So there's kind of a... Maybe conquer a few cities here and there, transition into a late game tourism thing like this. They have, what I would consider this is, I would consider these bonuses as quite strong when you consider them in a vacuum, but I feel like when you consider them working together towards a goal, they actually are kind of counterproductive in a lot of ways. Like this particular bonus doesn't help you building encampments, which are what you're going to want if you're going to be building any units and going to war. These units, they help you conquer things, but that doesn't help you with the thermal bath, which is more geared towards tourism. Now, to be fair, the thermal bath is quite good because it'll mean that you'll be able to hold on to your cities and not suffer so many war weariness because you'll have extra amenities. So yeah, I think overall, the Pearl of the Danube is probably their strongest ability. Then I would say the +2 city-state envoys and the thermal bath are kind of tied in power level. It's kind of really situational and dependent of how and the way you're playing. And then the levied units and the sort of Black Army and Hussars, these are very, very strong, but they're really, really situational, and that's a problem holding them back.
Ability is the Raven King. Levied units gain movement and combat strength, and it costs no gold or resources to upgrade levied units. Levying troops from a city-state.
So something interesting that I've spotted here, it might be hard to see. Up on the top here, you can see it says 128 iron and 5 horses. So I can only assume now that you actually get resources per turn that you own a strategic resource tile, and you're going to have to actually spend a specific amount. Now, I don't know if that's actually been announced, and I don't know if anyone else has spotted that, but that's just something I just spotted there.
Unit that gets additional strength for adjacent levied units. Hungary is a civilization built for rapid expansion and domination. The Black Army upgrades into the Hussar, giving Matthias...
Oh, the Black Army upgrades into the Hussar. That's very interesting, actually. That could be very powerful, because if we check what the bonuses were, just so we can have a look at them on paper, so to speak, where is it? So the Black Army upgrades into the Hussar. Again, that's kind of really cool, because I don't think we've seen a unique unit that upgrades into another unique unit yet. Now, the Courser, I think, is a new unit in between the Horsemen and the Cavalry. I can only assume, because the Courser didn't exist before. So I can only assume it goes like Horseman, Courser, Cavalry. But for Hungary, it'll go Horseman, Black Army, Hussar. And horses are actually already really, really strong in the game. So I think this could actually be potentially quite powerful. I would be very interested to see if these units have any other bonuses. Can I actually check that? Let's have a look at their stats. The base combat strength of the Black Army is 50. And Cavalry's base combat strength is... I'm not sure what it is, actually. What is Cavalry's base combat strength? Let's have a look here. Civ 6 Wiki Cavalry. Reject advertising cookies. The base combat strength of Cavalry is 62. Now, the base combat strength of Horsemen, where is it? Like Cavalry units. That's what I want. There is the Horsemen. The base combat strength of the Horseman is only 36, so this is actually a significant upgrade to go up to the Black Army, actually, which is quite interesting.
A light cavalry unit that gets additional strength.
I want to see the Hussar. Did they show the Hussar?
Industrial
65 base combat strength, and the Cavalry is 62, right? Let me double check that. 62. So this already has an additional +3 combat strength before you have, combat strength from alliances, flanking bonuses, all that sort of stuff. So it seems like these units are just inherently a little bit stronger. I'm not entirely sure about the Black Army because I haven't actually seen the Courser.
Rapid expansion and domination.
But I think these units, they're relatively strong, and they're already cavalry, so I'd say they're decent.
Conquered cities loyal. River settlements will develop quickly, leaving you plenty of time to produce more military units. To further bolster your army, keep up with city-state relationships and take advantage of levied units.
And you can actually see up here, if I zoom in, you can see there's horses, iron, niter, and oil all have counts. Let's see, and this is this new diplomatic resource, I assume. And it looks like everything else is fairly standard and straightforward. Let's see if we can glean any other little bits of information
armies flood
from just scanning the video real quick. Let's have a look. Can we glean any information?
8 to 1490 became Hungary's unique ability.
So it looks like we can see a queue and a manager. So it looks like the construction queue and the city manager has come back. Am I seeing anything new in here? There's the Great Bath. That's a new wonder. for sure. That looks like a new wonder. And that's about it for now. Let's see.
District from a city master. City
Do
center.
we see anything new in this screen? No. Not seeing any particular things. Religious citizens. Is that new? I'm not sure. That might be... I don't know if that's a new thing. That might be something that already exists and I just never look at it. I like their building styles. Very, very cute and nice. I like the updated... These look like updated coal mines, maybe. Or niter mines, maybe. I don't know. There's a ruin. Let's see. We seeing anything new and unique? This little icon here looks like this is fairly new as well. And these little icons here are telling you about this is a volcano floodplain, so this could get pillaged when the volcano erupts. Let's have a look. Some geysers there. Any hints in here? No hints in there. Just doing a quick scan to check if there's any little leaks that we didn't spot. This portrait looks kind of out of place though, in my opinion, compared to the others, although it might just be my perception because I am not used to him. The minimap looks like it's been improved a lot, which is very, very nice. I'm very happy about that. Let's have a look. Any new little leaks of information? Auckland. Looks fairly standard. Ooh, who is that? Is that a new civilization, perhaps? Perhaps. Any new bonuses? Let's see. Taiwan. China's colors have changed, it seems. There used to be like this greenish color. Any new resources we can spot? That's horses. Looks like floodplains over here. Volcano. Overflow fertility or whatever. This might be a mine resource of some kind. Yeah, I'm not really spotting anything particularly new. Oh, hello. We've got a skirmisher, which I assume is going to be... Let's see, what unit is missing? Heavy cavalry, range units, melee, anti-cavalry. I could only assume that this is some sort of mounted... Wait, where's the scout? So the skirmisher, I think, is a replacement for the scout unit, because I don't see a scout and I don't see the upgrades to the scout in here. So it looks like there's going to be a new unit called the skirmisher in the scout line, because here's the anti-cavalry, here's the siege, here's the melee, here's the ranged, here's the heavy cavalry, here's the light cavalry, and here's the skirmisher. Now this could either be granted by a bonus, but I am almost, I would say I'm 99.5% certain that this is a new scout line of unit. Let's have a quick look around. Anything new in here? No new resources to spot. This is all cotton. Okay. Levy military. Looks like this is some sort of unrevealed civilization or something. Or you haven't met them yet. This is Antioch. Your trade routes generate gold. Ooh, suzerain diplomacy bonus. You gain a base of... So you gain diplomatic favor every turn for being a suzerain. Pay gold diplomacy. 3 tiles around the city. Ownership of the resources. Okay. Catapults. Muscat. Alright, these are all looking for... There's Fez. Fez is new, right? Is Fez new? I think Fez is new. I certainly think Fez is new. Interesting. So, what are my final thoughts on Hungary? I think Hungary have a couple of pretty strong bonuses. I think a lot of their bonuses are extremely situational. So they're going to be really inconsistent. They do have 2 consistent bonuses, which are the extra envoys and the production towards districts and buildings across Mere River. So they are going to be a very good, I think they're going to be a very good civ at going either for a SimCity play if you have the right land with lots of rivers, or when I say SimCity, I mean basically where you don't go to war and you just build up your economy and completely stomp everyone through economic output. Or they're going to be strong at doing some sort of military play if the situation demands it. And I think outside of having access to their sort of core bonuses of extra production or the ability to go to military, they're going to be quite weak and inconsistent. I think that's going to be Hungary. Like, when Hungary is strong in the hands of a player, they're going to be downright broken. But when Hungary doesn't have all the sort of boxes ticked that they need to really stand out, they're going to be almost just like a generic civilization with the occasional extra envoy and the occasional bit of extra production. Now, rivers are fairly common and it's quite easy to get suzerain of a couple of city-states, but sometimes, it's not necessarily about keeping suzerainty. Sometimes you want to get more suzerainty. Although I guess being able to convert gold into envoys again, it is a really nice thing. And then being able to upgrade those armies, it means your city-states are less likely to die. That's actually quite a big advantage. Now that I think about it, I wish you could be called to arms I wish you could call to arms your city-states or something and join anyone who's at war with them, or like join the city-state in a war against someone else rather than having to like declare an independent war. I think that's kind of, I would like to see that changed. But overall, I'm very happy with Hungary. Looks like they're going to be interesting to play, and when the stars align, they're going to be really, really strong. But other than that, they're going to be quite... my prediction is they're going to be inconsistent and weak. But situationally overpowered. Inconsistent and weak, situationally overpowered. All right, that's it for the Hungary analysis. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I love you all very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.